In this video, we're going back to YelpCamp to make a quick refactor. So as I mentioned in the last video about module.exports, we're going to take some of the model code, this campground schema, the campground model, and we're going to push this out into a separate models directory in a campground file. And that will pave the way for us to do it with our other models like user and comment. So we'll get there in time, but for now we have three main steps. We need to create the models directory and the campground file. Then we need to use module.exports inside that campground file, and then we need to require everything correctly, including requiring Mongoose and requiring the newly created campground file. So before I get started, I do have a v3 that I'm working in now because we're making some larger changes. We're moving files around. So if you want to follow along, the new changes will be in version 3. Okay, let's begin. The first thing I want to do is make a directory called models. And inside of models, we'll have all of the model files. So I'm going to make my first one now, touch models/campground.js, just like that. And then I'm going to open that file up. And I'm going to put all of the campground logic, which is just this right now. And it doesn't seem like that's a huge benefit. It's 5, 6, 7 lines that we're cleaning up. But when we have multiple models, which is coming soon, it will be 30 or 40 different lines of models, and we don't want our app.js to be cluttered. And we're actually going to even clean things up further in a future video. We're going to move all of these routes out into a separate file, multiple separate files, to make the app.js really clean and as minimal as possible. Let's go to campground.js and paste this code in, and we're getting an error right away. It's telling us Mongoose is not defined. That's one thing we'll need to take care of, and that's nice and easy. Var mongoose equals require mongoose, just like that. Save, and we have our schema, and then we're just going to do module.exports equals mongoose.model campground schema. So when we require this file, when we do require campground.js, we'll be getting the model. So now we need to go to app.js and just add a nice require statement up here, and we can just do that right here. Campground equals require, and we have to do ./models/campground. We don't need the .js, that's implicit, and we don't have to name it campground, but I'm going to keep it campground because that's what we're using down here, where we're doing campground.find and campground.create. All right, so we can test this out, and to see if it works, all we have to do is start the server. And if we see our campgrounds that I have in the database, that means that our model is set up correctly. Otherwise, we don't have a way of getting the campgrounds out of the database. All right, so let's try that now. Let's run our app.js. Looks good so far. Let's refresh the campgrounds page. And here are the 4 campgrounds that I added. These are some new ones that you haven't seen yet. I just went in and added some new campgrounds. So we have this beautiful glacier camp, Lake Lakey. All right, let's go back now. And we're done with everything we need to do. The next iteration of this will look like comment equals require, and we'll do the same exact thing, ./models/comment, and we'll do the exact same thing again for user when we have user login. So now we have this nice pattern where we don't have to have all of the code cluttering app.js. We can require different files in, and the key to that is module.exports. If I leave this off, just show you that now. If I have the right code in here, but I don't export anything, I don't add it to module.exports, when I require it, this line right here, require models/campground, I'm actually going to get an empty object like that. And I'll get an error because when I try and do something like empty object.find, that's not going to work for us. And I'll show you that. Restart the server, start it up again, refresh the page. Object has no method find, as you can see here. Object has no method find. That's because we're not sending this mongoose model out of the file. We're not exporting it. Now we are. Refresh again, restart the server, and things go back to normal. So that one line is really important. It's not enough just to split things into files, but we have to make sure that we're using module.exports correctly.